most dangerous fighter in UFC now? Who's the
Well,
one
John Jones is still one of the, you know, he's the best ever, the best of all time.
See, I think pound for pound, and we won't ever find out. I think Tom Aspinall is the best. I think Tom,
Well, who knows?
I think Tom beats him.
Who knows
Yeah,
if John beats him? John might beat him up.
Yeah, he could.
John might take him down and fucking ragdoll him on the ground, like, you know.
John easily could, because we don't know how good John is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Do you think it's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm really interested about this fight.
Yeah, for sure I want to see it happen because it's make our division move fast to the belt.
Of course. One thing John Jones is petty. His pride is not going to allow himself to retire with that Tom.
The heavyweight division of the UFC finds itself at a fascinating crossroads following Francis Ngannou's departure. While John Jones currently holds the championship belt, there's been considerable debate surrounding his legitimacy since he hasn't yet faced some of the division's most formidable opponents. Now Tom Aspinall stands as a significant challenge to Jones's legacy, though Dana White remains unwavering in his support of Jones.
Jones and Mike Tyson are two of the nastiest human beings ever.
I interviewed Tom Aspinall in London.
Another one.
He wants to fight John Jones.
He wants to fight everybody, man.
He thinks he'll beat John Jones.
Yes, he does. I love it. I love that. And a young, aggressive, talented heavyweight that he actually wants to fight all the best.
Dana White, in a recent discussion about this potentially monumental fight between Tom Aspinall and John Jones, Dana White shared his insights about how defeating Jones could transform the career of a young, gifted heavyweight like Aspinall. White was particularly struck by Aspinall's remarkable self-confidence, describing it as almost unsettling in its calmness. In White's view, possessing such unwavering confidence is absolutely crucial for any fighter aspiring to join the ranks of the all-time greats.
He can win, he can beat John Jones. It's life-changing.
He's got an amazing self-confidence. I mean, he just exudes calm, almost chilling self-confidence.
If you're a fighter, you better have that.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have to have. If you want to be one of the all-time greats, that's exactly what you have to have.
Initially, John Jones expressed his skepticism about the value of facing Tom Aspinall in the octagon. While Jones acknowledges that from a fan's perspective, it could be an exciting matchup, primarily because Aspinall brings youth and a significant size advantage to the table.
I guess the clarifying question then is, if Dana and Hunter do come to you after this fight, the figures make sense to you, would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it. 7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this John's so good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him. Let's see how he does against that. I get that narrative.
However, from Jones's perspective, both business-wise and career-wise, a fight against Alex Pereira makes far more strategic sense. Jones points out the natural alignment in their matchup. They're of similar age and walking weight, creating what he sees as a more balanced contest. Furthermore, Pereira's established reputation and numerous achievements mean that a victory over him would significantly enhance Jones's legacy. In contrast, Jones suggests that while Aspinall undoubtedly presents a formidable and dangerous challenge, his relatively limited list of accomplishments and lower star power make the fight less appealing. In essence, Jones believes that taking on a high-risk opponent like Aspinall, who hasn't yet established himself as a legacy-defining adversary, wouldn't be the wisest career move.
Me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Business-wise, it makes more sense. Fight the, I'm gonna call him this, fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades, who's incredibly dangerous, but it actually will affect your legacy.
Jones's journey in the heavyweight division began impressively when he claimed the belt by defeating Cyril Gane at UFC 285 in March 2023. Since then, he successfully defended his title 12 times, setting a new record for defenses in the category. His most recent defense was particularly noteworthy, a technical knockout victory over the veteran Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, in a fight that had been rescheduled from its original November date. Meanwhile, Aspinall stepped up as interim champion when Jones was sidelined with an injury before the originally planned Miocic fight. This has sparked intense debate among fans and pundits about who truly deserves to be called the division's champion. While most seem to favor the Englishman, Joe Rogan offers a distinctly different perspective. In a compelling conversation with Brendan Schaub, Rogan stood firm in his belief in Jones. When Schaub confidently declared Aspinall as the world's best heavyweight, Rogan immediately interjected with passionate uncertainty, "Who knows? Maybe John beats him. John might beat him up." Rogan's conviction grew stronger as he elaborated, suggesting Jones could dominate Aspinall on the ground, taking him down at will. He raised a crucial point about the unknown aspects of Aspinall's abilities. We also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. We have zero idea. No one's gotten there. No one's even gotten close. This observation carries particular weight given Aspinall's remarkably brief average fight time in the UFC, just 2 minutes and 2 seconds per fight. Rogan speculates that if the fight extends beyond the 2nd round, which seems likely, it could significantly favor Jones. While anything could happen when these two titans clash in the octagon, most analysts agree that Jones would likely push the fight past the 3rd bell. Such a strategy would force Aspinall into unfamiliar territory, potentially tipping the scales in Jones's favor. However, all of this remains speculative until negotiations to bring these two extraordinary fighters together come to fruition. In the meantime, everyone holds their own passionate opinions, with Rogan particularly determined to defend his stance with unwavering conviction. Jon Jones now faces what could be the most daunting challenge of his illustrious career in Tom Aspinall, though some MMA stars believe he should steer clear of this powerhouse. The potential matchup has captured the public's imagination, pitting one of the most skilled fighters in history against an absolute force of nature, someone capable of rendering any opponent unconscious with a single strike. Aspinall's performances have been so intimidating that some fans speculate they've deterred the heavyweight champion. Aspinall himself has openly criticized Jones for delaying the fight. However, while most hope to see Jones sign the contract, a former UFC star strongly believes he should avoid this contest altogether. For many in the MMA community, Jones needs to defeat Tom Aspinall to cement his position among the greatest fighters in UFC history. Daniel Cormier has shared his detailed analysis of how Jones might overcome Aspinall, emphasizing Jones's experience, fight IQ, and grappling prowess as key advantages. While acknowledging Aspinall as a dangerous, well-rounded heavyweight with impressive speed and power, Cormier believes Jones possesses the tools to neutralize these threats through his wrestling and clinch control. DC highlights Jones's exceptional ability to adapt mid-fight, utilizing his reach, kicks, and masterful control of pace.
If he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Cyril, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Cyril just did some weird stuff. And John, you don't make mistakes against John.
Michael Bisping and Daniel Cormier have provided fascinating insights into Jon Jones's mindset and his reaction to Tom Aspinall's confidence. Bisping emphasized that Jones performs at his peak when embracing his true competitive nature, rather than trying to maintain a facade of pleasantry.
That's the real Jon Jones. So many times we have told Jon Jones, be yourself, don't pretend to be a nice guy. He's always thought that's an insult. Like, well, if I'm pretending to be a nice guy, then you must say that I'm not. No, Jon Jones is a competitor, and you look at his eyes right here, in the eyes of what's telling the story. Muhammad Ali had a very famous quote. He said, if you ever dream of beating me, wake up and apologize. Jon Jones cannot believe that Tom Aspinall thinks he can beat him. He cannot believe that he's standing next to him and saying things to the media. Jon Jones is still hungry, and he's a true competitor, and that look in his eye, Daniel, that's the real Jon Jones.
C elaborated on this perspective, painting a vivid picture of Jones as having an almost sinister aura in his approach. He likened Jones to a final boss in a video game, not just dominant, but someone who takes personal offense when challenged. According to DC, Jones thrives in situations where he feels disrespected or underestimated, naturally imposing his presence on opponents both physically and psychologically.
His eye, Daniel, that's the real Jon Jones.
Evil, too. He kind of evil a little bit.
He's a tough guy, man.
He really is the final boss. He's a tough dude. He hates when people stand up to him. It didn't raise my excitement level to this point. It almost felt like he no-sold him. When Tom put his hand on him, he kind of like, He kind of no-sold him a little bit. Give him a little bit, John. Build the anticipation. You know how to do it.
However, mixed martial artist Mark Dakes offers a starkly different perspective. He believes Jones has already built an extraordinary legacy and shouldn't risk tarnishing it. In a heartfelt interview, Dakes explained, "For me, what Jon Jones has achieved and what he has done, I think he should just walk away. Tom Aspinall is young and fresh, he's hungry. Jon Jones has done it all. He doesn't need to be facing guys that are young and hungry at that level. He's done everything. He's fought all the top guys you could think of, like Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, all the top guys. He's got the heavyweight belt. Leave it." The potential showdown between Jones and Aspinall has evolved into one of MMA's most gripping narratives. Fans and fighters alike wonder if these two heavyweights will ever meet in the octagon. Despite the swirling uncertainty, UFC CEO Dana White remains optimistic, suggesting that this blockbuster matchup is likely to materialize in 2025. The dynamic between the two fighters is fascinating. Tom Aspinall relentlessly pursues his dream of becoming the greatest heavyweight in MMA, consistently calling out the division's undisputed champion. Meanwhile, Jon Jones dismisses the significance of the interim title holder, showing minimal interest in facing the British contender. While no official announcement has been made, the burning question remains: who would have the upper hand in this clash? Some believe the hungry young Aspinall will end Jones's legacy, while others trust in the champion's vast experience as the deciding factor.
Fights Tom, that's his last fight no matter what. I think he's going to make an absolute shit ton of money.
There's reports he's asking for upwards of $30 million. Do you think Dana can pull out the cash with that?
Give it to him.
Do you think Jon Jones being in the division has held up the division?
He deserves this. He's a big star. What we can do? Just improve ourselves in fights, doing best social media, maybe going to jail like I'm him, or I don't know what. To be so famous like Jon Jones.
The anticipation among fans worldwide has reached a fever pitch for this epic confrontation. A clash between Jon Jones's legendary dominance and Tom Aspinall's unstoppable rise. After months of intense speculation, heated exchanges, and a rivalry that has electrified the entire MMA community, the moment feels imminent. This isn't merely a fight, it represents a battle for legacy, respect, and ultimate supremacy in the heavyweight division. Heavyweight division. In a fascinating development, Alex Pereira recently shared his perspective on this potential matchup during an in-depth conversation with Mark Boris on his podcast. While Jones has expressed more interest in fighting Pereira than Aspinall, Pereira himself firmly believes Jones is the greatest of all time. During his discussion with Boris, Pereira explained his reasoning and expressed confidence in Jones's ability to defeat Aspinall. Pereira emphasized, "In my opinion, what matters is the biggest number of title defenses in the UFC. That matters. That makes him the GOAT. I think Jon Jones wins." This comes despite widespread recognition that Aspinall represents one of the most formidable challenges Jones will face in his career. The 30-year-old British fighter has built an intimidating reputation, having knocked out all of his opponents, a fact that might concern the New York native. Michael Bisping initially shared this concern, once boldly stating, "I don't think Jones can hold a candle to Tom." However, his perspective shifted dramatically after witnessing Jones's masterful dismantling of Stipe Miocic at UFC 309. This performance not only impressed fans but also caused Bisping to reconsider his position. Reflecting on Jones's last performance on the Submission Radio show, the UK's first UFC champion revealed his evolving thoughts about how his fellow countrymen might fare against the consensus GOAT. People forget about Jones and what he did, and then he becomes the champion, and then yeah, he beat Stipe. He looked bloody good beating him. So I'm making a point. I said Tom beats him, but I don't know. The closer the fight gets, if it happens, I'm getting a little more concerned for Tom. The situation has grown more complex since Tom Aspinall's interim title victory last November. While Jones retained his belt in dominant fashion at UFC 309, finally settling his rivalry with Stipe Miocic, he's remained largely dismissive of facing Aspinall next, preferring a bout with Alex Pereira. However, he has suggested openness to negotiating a deal to fight the Brit. UFC President Dana White has emphasized that a unification bout between the pair would mark the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history. Despite the strong desire from both Aspinall and the majority of fans to see this matchup confirmed, Jones appears hesitant, with no substantial developments emerging in recent months. In light of this situation, the 31-year-old Aspinall has provided his own candid update. "Yeah, I'm just training now," Aspinall reveals, showing his dedication to staying prepared. "I'm just training and getting everything focused to be as fit and ready as I possibly can. Who knows? They might bring the Jon Jones fight date on me quickly, or they might say the dates are going to be in 6 months. I don't know. That's always what kind of happens between fights anyway. You never really know when your next one is, so I'm just preparing now." Aspinall further elaborated on his current mindset and preparation. We're just getting fit, really. Getting fit, getting back into it, getting the body ready, getting the mind all in sync towards the next opponent and towards the next date, and waiting to find out when that is. I should imagine I'm gonna find out in the next couple of weeks. Having not competed since July 2024, Aspinall maintains his confidence, showing no concern about potential ring rust affecting his future performance. Recent speculation has intensified with rumors circulating that Jon Jones could receive a substantial $30 million to accept the Aspinall fight. American mixed martial artist Shah Ali offered a thoughtful analysis of Jones's complex situation regarding his legacy. Should he risk everything by fighting Tom Aspinall, or preserve his GOAT status by walking away? Ali emphasized that Jones could retire now, having already secured his place among MMA's greatest fighters. However, the Aspinall challenge presents a unique opportunity that could either elevate his legacy further or potentially tarnish his nearly perfect record.
It's like it's like you risk going down as no matter what, you don't have to fight again. Greatest of all time, people will say that. You're the greatest of all time, greatest of all time, Jon Jones. Or you risk it, go fight Tom Aspinall, possibly lose, and then it's like, he was the greatest. Then they're saying, yeah, but he wasn't in his prime, so you're still the greatest of all time. But are you? Like, what do you do? Just completely avoid that fight?
O'Malley Shah Ali delved deeper into Jon Jones's mindset, suggesting that at his core, Jones likely still believes in his ability to defeat anyone, including Tom Aspinall. While acknowledging that factors like age, weight, and previous injuries might influence Jones's decisions, Ali pointed out that Jones has never been one to shy away from a challenge. During
them up.
If that was the case, you don't think he would be saying after Stipe, I'm gonna fucking destroy Tom?
Yeah, maybe he gets older and he's got all this weight on him now, and who knows, some injuries could. Maybe not though.
Dude, I bet he looks at Tom. Maybe not though. It's just tough to say, man.
Definitely possible.
Definitely possible. Maybe not.
During a passionate press conference, Dana White forcefully defended Jon Jones against accusations of avoiding fights. He firmly shut down any suggestion that the heavyweight champion is dodging a potential clash with Tom Aspinall. White reminded everyone of Jones's fearless legacy of taking on all challengers, never backing down from any fight. Speaking with conviction, White declared, "Jon Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact," before addressing the only notable exception in Jones's career.
Will not be the Jon Jones that fights Tom Aspinall. Teddy Atlas. I had this conversation with Teddy, and I said, Coach, he's not missing. He's spinning around backwards where he can't even see the opponent. I don't think he missed a shot against Stipe. When I spoke to Tom said was watching slow motion. He said, I got all the respect for Stipe, but he was simply too slow, and Jon was too slow. Not one of those spins, not one of those things would have I ever been there, and that is a real reality with youth. Generally, you will give that back for size. Like if Tom Aspinall turns out to be the faster of the two, oh, by the way, and he's that.
White acknowledged the infamous Chael Sonnen incident where Jones's team refused a short-notice fight. However, he made it crystal clear that this decision came from Jones's camp, not from Jones himself. White even described it as one of the most peculiar moments in UFC history, stating, "Other than that, that wasn't him, it was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's like the goofiest move in the history of the UFC." With these words, White reinforced Jones's warrior spirit inside the cage, dismissing any lingering doubts about his willingness to face top contenders. While some speculate that a massive payday will be necessary to bring these fighters together, not everyone believes the UFC will offer that kind of money to Jones. The narrative around this potential matchup continues to evolve, with both fighters' legacies hanging in the balance. This situation represents more than just a championship fight. It's a clash of generations, styles, and legacies. Jones, the seasoned veteran with an almost mythical status in the sport, faces pressure to prove himself against a younger, hungrier challenger. Meanwhile, Aspinall, representing the new wave of heavyweight talent, seeks to dethrone a legend and establish his own era of dominance. The anticipation continues to build as the MMA world waits to see if this dream matchup will materialize. Every statement, every training session, and every negotiation adds another layer to this compelling story. The question remains, will we witness this potentially historic clash between two of the most talented heavyweights in UFC history? Only time will tell, but the excitement and speculation continue to grow with each passing day. The stage is set for what could be one of the most significant heavyweight battles in UFC history. With Jones's technical mastery and experience facing off against Aspinall's explosive power and youth, this potential matchup has captured the imagination of fight fans worldwide. As the story unfolds, the MMA community eagerly awaits the next development in this compelling saga.